Hey everyone, my name is Adam Wood with Step 22 Gear, and I'm here today to talk to you about our covers for your high lift jacks. The number one question that we get on the covers is, which size do I need? And the question usually starts with you guys letting us know which length jack you have. And the answer is, it does not matter what length your jack is. What really matters for which size cover you need is how you mount your jack. This is my rig here. This is my responder jack, so the colors aren't what you're normally used to. I've had mine recoated, but the running gear, which is the part that the cover wraps around, is the same no matter what version jack you have. And what you're going to want to do is count the number of holes that you have exposed that you do not need to use for your jack mounts. In this case, obviously I've got mine mounted on the front of my rig here, and I can place the running gear in between the two mounts that I have for my jack, which is preferred when possible because that will help spread the weight of the running gear between your two mount points rather than have your running gear down here on one end where all the weight's on that one mount. So that's step one, is when you can, if you've got two mount points, mount your running gear in between. The difference between the two covers are the number of holes that are covered on top of the running gear. And the difference is our 11-inch version, the short version, is going to cover just 2 holes on top of the running gear and 3 holes below the running gear. So as you can see here, this in this case works just fine to cover the 2 holes, but you can see I still have plenty of clearance beneath this bar here because my mounts, one here, one on the back side. So I can count up to hole number 8 from the top of the running gear and still be clear, which is the clearance that you're going to need if you wanted to run the longer version. So if you count up 8 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you're going to need to have 8 holes of clearance all the way around in order to install the longer cover. So this is my personal jack and my personal cover that I've ran for years on this truck, and you can see that I'm able to get a little more protection out of the longer neck of this cover. A lot of times you're limited on where you mount your high lift jack on your rig, where you're forced to use a particular hole in order to get your jack mounted there, in which case the 11-inch version of the cover only covering 2 holes. Both versions of our covers cover up 3 holes on the lower side of your running gear. So the way that I have it mounted here, I've got 3 holes exposed before this mount that you see here. So once you know how you mount your jack and where you're going to put your running gear, and you've determined which size cover is going to be right for you, I'd like to tell you just a few tricks and tips on kind of preparing your jack before you install your cover. Step 1 is you're going to want to clean the running gear as much as you can. If you've had it on your rig and it hasn't been covered, you may have a bunch of dirt and grime. Do what you can to get everything cleaned up. And then I like to recommend using a dry lube. Doesn't matter which brand dry lube you get, but I like to spray the entire running gear with dry lube. Dry lube's great. It doesn't attract dirt and grime because it dries dry, so it's not going to attract dirt and grime, and it helps stop rust. So if you have any coating that's chipped off of your jack, that's going to prevent that. Wet lube is fine on the moving parts, the walking pins and springs, and then your jack pivot points down here, you can still use your wet lube there. So go ahead and get it nice and lubricated before you install your cover. Next thing is the direction lever. In the up position is where you want it to be. That's this piece here. That would be the down position. The problem here is your walking pins protrude, and this nose of this lever can actually dig into the cover. It also allows your running gear to move along your jack bar, which you don't want. You want that running gear to stay put. So make sure your direction lever is in the up position, and then you'll just want to wrap your cover around. Make sure it's kind of nice and tight on the nose. You'll bring your zipper together just like you would anything else. And one tip that helps is as you zip up the bar, if you pull it out just a bit, it helps kind of wrap around that back edge. That locks in place, and it's as easy as that. Removal's the same way as you pull down, pull out just a little bit, and your jack's ready to use. You may be wondering what this piece is here. This is our device that eliminates jack rattle. So I'll put a link down below here that you can go check out the silent jack. Cool, so if you guys got any questions, go ahead and let us know. If you're not sure, if you're still not sure which size cover you need, or you got questions on mounting your jack or anything, feel free to let us know.